Welcome to Rooted in Liberty, the podcast where small town stories meet unbelievable truths. Here, we sit back, relax, and share the kind of tales you just can't make up. These are the true, yet extraordinary moments from our own lives. Stories that could only happen in a place like Liberty, Kentucky.
Hey, welcome back to Rooted in Liberty podcast. As always, I'm the beautiful Josh Edwards.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Tanner.
Tanner's back.
Tanner's back. He's not so pretty, brother.
All right.
He can grow a beard, though. I can't. Anyway.
He got the beard genes.
Yeah. I got the good looks, and he got the beard.
Yeah.
So, we'll tell you this. This episode is brought to you in part
Yeah, sure.
in part by Atwood's brother, good Lord, screwed it up. Shelter Insurance, our little agent, Kevin Atwood, here in Liberty, Kentucky. He serves a wide variety of places. 606-787-8770. They offer home, life, and auto. And if you drive around back or park your car around back,
Yeah.
his brother, Brent, he'll detail and tint your car. So, same phone number. Just give them boys a holler and
Yep.
let them take care of you. And while we own sponsors, I'll just go ahead and mention the other one. So, y'all, we've already talked about this, but just say what you thought you was going to get when you came.
Man, I thought I was getting some cookies. I was told that Josh has secured a package of cookies for him to share
During the show, yeah.
During the show, or just, pre-show or after show, because talking makes you hungry.
Yeah. So, we were going to shoot Wednesday. It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
We were going to
sorry
shoot
about that.
Wednesday. So, Proverbs 31 Bakery, Miss Sammy Taylor, she texted me and said, hey, when you going to shoot again, I'll make you some cookies. So I said, Wednesday. Well, this ain't Wednesday. This is the following Monday.
Right.
And she gave me 6 delicious snickerdoodle cookies. They were big and fluffy.
Oh, next time, Sam, you got to give them to me.
Yeah. And I ate them all Wednesday night because we didn't shoot, and I didn't want them to go bad. Didn't want them to be stale, and then, you leave a bad review. So, Miss Sammy,
I don't think they're going to go bad in 3 days.
yeah. Well, no, they won't because I ate them.
Right. He probably ate them before you got home.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I ate one or two.
Hey, road snack.
Right.
So, Proverbs 31 Bakery, find her on Facebook. Phone number 606-706-5894. Made to order bakery specializing in sourdough, fried apple pies, cookies, cupcakes, cinnamon rolls, all homemade, dye-free. She'll do orders as small as half dozens all the way up to birthdays, weddings, funerals, anniversaries, whatever. I don't know if she does funerals, but who knows? Roll that bean footage there with the rest.
We got Vintage Honey. Miss You Cravens there. Vintage Honey. Go find her on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. She does the local lemonade lady here, and you can find her in Save-A-Lot and Liberty and Russell Springs. And man, she's getting everywhere. Bread of Life, Goods, and the fruit market. She got tons of different flavors. We were at Goods getting ice cream, and my daughter went up into the refrigerator, and she has a pickle flavor.
I don't know about that. Dill? Just like a dill flavor?
It is a pickle.
I don't do pickles.
It could be just more because of the color. I didn't know, but my daughter's a pickle nut.
Yeah.
So, and then we also got our wonderful friends over at the Buck there, WKDO 98.7, classic country music. Start your mornings off with old Jerry on the Buck Morning Show, weekdays from 6 to 10, and cruise it through your afternoon with Crystal on the afternoon drive show from 1 to 6. And when the sun goes down, Jeff is here with classic country nights from 6 to 10. And also Jerry does the Buck Shop. I get on there, and people know me more from the Buck Shop than going to church, from pastoring church. But Jerry's a good fellow there, and go listen there and chasingthebuck.com. And I think Jerry's been posting the Buck Shop on Spotify, so you can go back and listen to that. So there's our sponsors. We couldn't do this without them. So
Yeah.
we could replace Josh, but we can't replace them.
Yeah. And if you really sit and just think about it,
Yeah.
out of us three,
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all don't need cookies near as much as I do.
We can. What are you trying to say?
Well, just look at you.
Look at me. You weigh more than both of us.
Well, mate, what do you weigh?
Would I weigh 230?
Yeah, Josh does not weigh more than me.
Yeah.
No, Tanner got me beat, but I got you beat.
Yeah.
I'm about 275, 280.
I was 292 the last time I weighed in.
Yeah. When did y'all have
That's beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then y'all like had to wait. Y'all actually got like the scale out because y'all were arguing at your mom's.
Yeah, we stripped off naked and everything.
Seriously, you should have shaved. Well, we just took his beard off and handed it to you.
Yeah.
Did Josh take his teeth out? Because that
He didn't. I did.
could drop some weight right there.
Good. I saw where somebody lost a set of teeth the other day on Facebook. What? It was like lost in the flood, and there was.
Sailor dentures showed up on a lady's yard.
And I tried to get a hold of them. I thought about it. I mean, if they fit, be a good spare set.
There you go.
Oh, that's gross.
It ain't gross. Just a little alcohol on it, clean them up.
Right.
Well, the water's done washed them.
Right. Yeah, it's clean water.
Just take a toothpick and pick the teeth out, so they're getting clean. Maybe little waxer or something on there to break
So
them
you're
up.
telling me if you go to the Goodwill and you walk in there on the glass case, there's some pretty set of ivory sitting there, you'd pick them up?
Widely, yeah, I'd pick them up. I guarantee you they're clean because they put them in there.
All right.
And they're in a store for sale. They got to be clean. Would I honestly put them in my mouth? Only if I was starving. Because we've talked before on my fish sandwich story. I've never eat without teeth. I've tried. You can't do it. I can't do it. So if I was starving to death,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
You eat those cookies real quick.
yeah, I would. It'd be hard to eat cookies no teeth.
We should take and see them. Next time Sammy gives them some cookies, I'm going to say lose the teeth. But
You know what we ought to do?
what?
I ought to do an episode with no teeth in.
No, I don't know if I could.
There'd be whistles and
I don't know if I could hear it. It'd be like an old AM radio station.
yeah.
Listen here, boys.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the reason we got shelter insurance sponsoring the show is because I had my first Liberty story experience.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago we were talking about, I'm like, Josh, I don't know, we can keep going on, but I'm running out of stories I can tell. We're gonna have to create some new ones.
Yeah, I'm going to go out and do something stupid.
Yeah, 2 weeks later.
Somebody took it literal. I didn't.
I did.
Go ahead. Fill us in. Tell the world.
What I did. All right. So this all started nice 70-degree day. Took one of the ladies from church to the chiropractor, and there's two ways you can get to her house. There's one that's nice gravel hill, and the other way is through a creek. And she said, "Don't, Brother Chris, don't go through the creek. It's already got 3 or 4 cars, been flooded out, and it's been raining good." And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we just had 3 inches of rain.
Like the week before.
Yeah. And she wasn't with you when this happened.
No.
Okay. You
I
dropped her off.
Yeah. And I was like, I had time to kill. It was 2 o'clock. It's sunny. The sun, I have my windows down. So I'm going to go down here and check this creek out. Got a truck for a reason.
Yeah. You a man.
Put in 4-wheel drive. I'll pull up to it. I'm like, well, I can see halfway across.
We're good.
I'm good. I start going. I hit the other side. It was like a wall. And I was in some water. And I may post a picture, I don't know, but this water was this little section was probably big as that love seat. But it was every bit of 6 foot deep.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell. It looked great. I've gone across this creek many times. But buddy, I hit that thing and I just stopped, and water came pouring in everywhere. I looked down, my shoes were getting wet. The car's still running. So what I do, I'm in 4-wheel drive. I put in 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
Put in reverse. I can't go nowhere. Put in drive. I'm doing that back, forth.
Trying to
steaming.
rock it out.
Yeah, steaming. Well, then it died. I think I turned it off. I'm thinking. And water, it is, like you go to the amusement park and you do like that, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Just all my hood. I'm like, yeah, I got this. And I just hit the wall.
Yeah.
There was no ramp. That was completely gone.
Yeah. It was just.
So my windows are gone. She told me not to go down there. Well, I get on I don't have cell reception. I'm over off of I guess that's Casey Creek.
Yeah.
Casey Creek and Vaughn Road, that creek right there. AT&T does not work in Casey County. So if you live in Casey County, you got AT&T, it's useless around here. I don't have no cell reception. I can't call nobody. So what I got to do? I got to walk all the way. This is a walk of shame. Back to Miss Vicky's house, knock on her door.
Wet.
I had to climb out my window. So, and because I took her to the doctor, so I have blue jeans. I got my Nike Dunks on, which they're about, I don't know, a couple $100 pair of shoes. Yay. After going through that creek, they never been that white before. There's something in that creek water.
Yeah, that sand,
I guess.
that rock, sand blasted them.
Pretty much. So I'm dripping wet. I climb out the window, climb across the hood, and then go wade across the water. And I get out and I walk back to her house. How far do you think that is from there?
It's a quarter mile.
It ain't a half. When your mind is like thinking, well, I'll just mess up this truck. I'm thinking my wife's going to kill me. She ain't gonna let me replace it. Yeah, there goes I'll never have a truck again. So I walk up there and can't call her. Got a knock on her door, and she comes to, and she looks at me. She said, "You win the creek." I said, "I did." She said, "I told you not to." I said, "Well, I just need to use your phone."
Yeah.
I couldn't Google nothing because I don't have service. Try to call my wife. She didn't answer. I called Kevin Atwood. He didn't answer.
Oh, you shouldn't said that on
I
here.
know, but it's his cell phone.
Oh, okay.
And I think I left a message and he called me back because I guess he didn't recognize the number.
Yeah.
And then I called Bart Woodrum and he answered. Well, he got the whole road. I had like SOS road part. Mike Hill showed up. Two other guys.
SWAT team, man.
Pretty much. But I called Kevin. Kevin calls Patrick, P&P towing buddy. I'm thankful for them. They've towed this truck 3 times. I feel like, yeah, they did. They towed it there and towed it somebody else, and it's getting the whole grand works. But I walked back down. I said, "All right." They said, "Where you at?" I said, "Well, I gotta get down there." Bart said, "Take some pictures so we can guide it, so we can tell the county, try and get them a bridge." That's what I was trying to do. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah.
But that truck, buddy, we get down there and I wait an hour. I can't call nobody. I have no service. I finally used the satellite text messaging.
Yeah.
Just texting Kevin and Nikki. They were checking on me. Well, I had to pick up Zachary at a soccer game that night in Somerset. Well, I was supposed to go home, get his clothes, take me, we'll get food. Well, it's 2:00.
Yeah. Time's up there.
Yeah, I'm stressed out. I'm thinking, all right, I had to walk back. My windows were down. I just left everything. No one's going to steal it. They can't go nowhere. My luck, some bird would fly in there and make a bird. Yeah. So we get in there. I get back. I had to cross the creek again, get soaking wet. And I just stand there. And then, trying to think of his name here. I think he lives on Casey Creek. Casey Creek Fort. Jonathan Mitchka. Well, he passed me, saw me standing out there doing the city move, trying to.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. We come back. He said, "You okay?" I said, "No, my truck's stuck down there." He said, "Yeah, I went to go across the other day and I saw it." And I was like, "Nope, I'm turned back around."
Yeah.
Well, if you come through one side, you see the big old hole down there.
Yeah.
But I came from the other side where you couldn't see that.
Yeah. All you could see was water.
Yep. So we got her there, and Bart and them come up. Tow truck comes in. I'm always soaking wet. Bart said, "You know what? The best thing you could do right now is get back in there and hook it up for the tow guy."
Keep them boys from getting wet.
Yeah. It was Patrick and it was Mr. Sherrill there was with them.
Yeah.
Cheryl. Yeah. But yeah, I got back in there and I get by the car and it's up to my belly button and they're just laughing. Bart's laughing. Mike,
Oh, yeah.
they're all taking pictures and video.
Yeah. It's a great day.
Yeah.
For everybody else.
Yeah. Well, I got back there and I'm trying to hook up, I'm trying to find the 2 holes by your hit, right, your Reese hitch, the hook. And that current was moving. I couldn't get those hooks on there because I kept moving them on me. So what I do, I squat down, and that water was cold.
Up to your neck.
It was about up to here, and I let a little shriek out. Yeah, and they just lost it.
Oh yeah.
But they thought it was funny though. You know, I had to put it back in neutral. Well, I can't get back in. Like I could open my door because the inside was the water got up to my seat inside. Everything was floating in there. I'm just glad I didn't have my cameras and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd been good.
Yeah, I would have been. We wouldn't be telling the story.
Yeah.
But you know, everything's floating up. I mean, it's probably. I haven't really looked inside this truck since it happened because we towed it down to our friend Biscuit's house, and he did what he could, and then we towed it to another mechanic in town, and they get it all going for me. But yeah, it's been fun.
You know, so this was a Chevrolet 1500.
It told me it was a Ford or Dodge. There'd be no hope.
Well, here's the way I look at it is what happened? You went in a creek, you got stuck.
Yeah,
Like a rock.
right.
And the old commercial, they're like a rock. Well, what happens to rocks? They sink.
They did. It sunk.
Yeah.
But the funniest was though we got it back onto the. They pulled it out, and we opened the door. Bart's got a video, I think, and just waters.
Mm-hmm.
Everything came pouring out.
All your stuff.
Yeah, it was I guess the guy I bought it from smoked, because when I looked over in the passenger side, all I can see was a cigarette floating.
Yeah.
And that thing was all soggy. I grabbed it up and said, "Anybody want to smoke?"
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's my good old story. And now if it rains, people say, "Hey, brother, Chris, do you want some life jackets?" Josh, we're going to sing songs saying, "Shall we gather at the river?"
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you the other day, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I was going to say, can you set like crisscrossed applesauce? You know what I'm talking about? Indian style.
Indian style, yeah.
Crisscrossed.
All right.
And, whether you could or not, and I'm going to say, well, you can't cross a creek.
Right.
How do you set? I don't know. I made that up. It was a lot funnier in my head.
I figure out where he's going there.
Yeah.
But so I learned. I've got a little, I guess, traumatized now. If I see any kind of puddle on the ground, I'm like,
Chris, he don't go outside no more when it rains.
right.
Hey, we just had a flood here lately, and he left the state.
I went to the other side of the country.
He heard rain was coming. He headed to North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to visit old Andy Griffith Museum.
Yeah.
When Josh's heroes.
Yeah, it's my hero. Tanner, you got any? You're here and you're just sitting there not saying anything. So you got any getting stuck stories? I got a couple. You could tell one. We could go back and forth.
I've got a bunch of them. I can't say I've ever been stuck in a creek,
Yeah.
but mud, well, best one to deal with water would do that one. So this is just out of high school. Probably about a year out of high school. I had that old F-150.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 95 single cab short bed.
Okay.
The front end was caved in on it. I bought that thing for, I think, like $1,500.
Okay.
I had enough money. I bit me some mud tires on it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was my mudding toy. And I think it's me and 3 other guys was in the single cab truck. We wedged in there like sardines. And we decided we're going to go down Rupert's Ford Trail. It's a little 4-wheeler trail out there on Green River.
Okay.
Pretty much kind of across the road from Bread of Life.
I think Bart told me he's in like a little Toyota or Nissan truck back there.
Okay.
Is it kind of real creaky and stuff?
Yeah.
So we take off back through there, and then, which we rode 4-wheelers and stuff down in there, but we get this truck, we're bebopping down the trail, and it's
Bebopping.
It's water holes, and it follows the river, so it just stays soaked. And I hit this one hole, and water just everywhere.
I can feel it. I can see it right now.
So I just floored it, because I knew if I didn't, I was going to be stuck in this hole. And you can't get nothing back there to get you. So I come up out of it, and that thing's a spitting and a sputtering, and it ain't got no power. And I thought, here we go. So I climb up out of that hole. I made it up. And I turned just straight around. I told them boys with me, I said, we're going to have to get off this trail before this thing just dies.
Right.
So I backed up, I gunned it, and I hit the side of that hole, and I shot right around it. And the whole time out of the trail, she's bye, 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 bye. It ain't wanting to run. I'm like, oh, here we go. We're going to be stuck down here. It's starting to get dark.
All right. Probably no cell reception or nothing.
None. So, well, yeah, we did have cell reception. But I make it to the very end. I mean, I get my front tires up on the road.
Yeah.
And my back tires is in this mud hole. And it ain't got the power to pull itself out.
Gotcha.
And I'm sitting there just finally I quit and was like, all right, we're going to figure out what's wrong with the motor. We'll figure out what's going on. Well, we popped the hood, and on a 95 F-150 with 302, it had a 5.0 liter.
Okay.
The intake comes off the motor to your air box, which you filter.
Right.
Well, then it comes out from the air box over and straight under the hood. So all that water just force fed into that filter housing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember, I think we took the air box off. There's at least a gallon of water in it.
Okay.
So we dumped it out. We pulled the filter out. It was soaked. That thing, it ain't running right. Ain't got no power. It's just got water in the engine. It can't burn the gas. So I'm trying to figure out, because I don't know anything about vehicles at the time. So I got my buddy that was with me. He called a friend. Was like, hey, this is what the truck's doing. How do we fix this? And the whole time I've got it running, and I'm sitting there like hitting the gas, trying to get it to clean out and burn and fuel. Well, with all that moisture in the cylinders and in the air, it wasn't burning the fuel good.
Right.
So all the unburnt fuel was coming out the exhaust.
Right.
We did not know this. Well, I'm on the phone with this boy, and he's telling me, try this, try that. And all of a sudden, it sparked. And the entire under the truck just fired. Oh, I'm like,
What?
just a big old fireball. All that water that we're sitting in is on fire because the gas floating on top of it.
This sounds like a movie.
So the boy I'm on the phone with, he's like, what's going on? Or he's trying to tell me to do something. And I don't know if I screamed or somebody else screamed whenever it caught on fire. Well, he said, what's going on? I said, truck's on fire. Hang on. And I threw the phone in the truck. I'm down there.
You left that there. He's thinking, what's going on?
I'm laying down under this, kind of in the water. I'm splashing water as fast as I can under his truck. And it went out. Didn't hurt nothing, but I guess that's what it needed. It finally fired enough to start burning good.
Yeah.
And we got pulled out. We had called the Hebrox. White come down there, was going to tow me home or back to his place. But we got it going good enough. I'm trying to think, it was late, but we ended up driving it back to a buddy's house, took his truck to Walmart, got oil. I don't think we did anything with the transmission, but we drained the oil out of it and flushed it real good.
Okay.
But yeah, almost burnt the truck down playing water.
Yeah. I've got, speaking of Rupert's Ford, I got one story for there, but it wasn't, it was four-wheelers. It wasn't,
Okay.
It wasn't, so there at Rupert's Ford, when you come in on the road,
I probably should know where this place is at.
well, we've never been there. I've never,
Where the Green River Valley Road crosses the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
So, and then you get down there, you turn left and you start running those trails back and you get back there to a spot where the river bends
Okay.
and it stays muddy in that area, stays there muddy all the time.
It's just
And
a big old play area.
they call it the playground. And it's just a
Okay.
great spot to get out there and do donuts. And there's a couple little creek crossings and stuff. Well, me and Daniel, my brother-in-law, he's got a four-wheeler, the one sitting out here in my carport.
Okay.
And I had a Honda 500 Foreman, and we would go riding. You know, we'd ride Baker Holler, and we'd bounce around, come up Peck Farm, up Caney Fork. We'd end up Rupert's Ford. We'd play around. We'd been gone all day, and we got down there, and we run back to the playground there, went through some good holes, and got back there to the playground, and you got to cross a pretty good-sized ditch to get into the actual playground area. And it's muddy and all that, and you got to find depending on the last rain you had, you got to find a spot to cross. There's no bridge, there's nothing. You just got to make your own crossing. And I had a bigger four-wheel drive, and I popped across. And you know, I spun or whatever, and I told Daniel, I said, you need to maybe go down here. Could try to come across. He was a smaller four-wheeler, two-wheel drive, and probably didn't have the best tires, whatever. Well, he got in that hole and got stuck. Couldn't get out. You know, it's steep on both sides, just a ditch. And we had a rope or had something to pull with, maybe an old toe strap or something, and tried to work it out by hand, just couldn't do it, and slipping and sliding. And I said, well, I can probably pull you. So not thinking about rigging and physics and what's going to happen if you pull from here, I just tied it to his front rack.
Oh, no.
And he was on it, and I was pulling him at kind of an angle. And it started to coming, and then the tire bit on his, and it just flipped him straight over.
Oh, really?
And he fell in the mud and come out like a pig. He was covered in
No, you were just laughing.
I was having a blast, but he wasn't. He was done.
I bet.
And he
Was it kind of cold too?
no, it was summertime.
Okay.
You know, but he was covered in mud, and he come up out of there, and he gets mad super easy.
Oh, okay.
And he was pretty mad, and he said, "Oh, I'm ready to go." You know, and then it come right out after that.
Yeah.
You know, we got that over with, and we left back, but it's a long ride back to mom and dad's.
And it's muddy and
he's muddy, and I mean most of the mud's gonna be dried on before he gets home. But that's the only time that I remember getting stuck.
Yeah.
We went same four-wheeler, Lower Brush Creek there.
Yeah.
When you hit the creek, me and Ashley and Jared and a bunch of them, we was going riding, and we hit that creek. I had on blue jeans and boots,
Right.
slip-on boots, and I just threw my feet up on the fenders, and Ashley was in the seat behind me, and she pulled her feet up, and we was going to ride this creek. As soon as I went into the water, four-wheeler died, just like that. I thought, oh, great. Here we are, you know, and everybody kind of goes up and parks, and they come over and try to help you, and we pushed the four-wheeler out, got it loaded up, or not loaded, but got it up on the dry ground, and they started pulling the seat off, getting to the air filter, stood the four-wheeler up, drained water out, stuff like that, and it just wouldn't hit a lick. It just crank, wouldn't do nothing. And I'm thinking, well, now somebody has got to go and get a truck or something. And whoever it was, I don't remember who, it might have been Austin Harris, might have been somebody else, but just happened to look. And when I went into that water, my thumb hit the kill switch.
Oh, so you killed it.
It just killed it. There wasn't a thing wrong with it. You turn the kill switch off, thing fired right up. But it was a...
That kind of makes me think about your bucket truck.
Yeah. What about it?
Remember one time you said it didn't work, and then you had a kill switch?
Yeah, kill switch. That boy made me mad.
A kill switch, good shit.
Hydraulic kill switch.
Kill switch, get somebody.
Every time.
Run that bucket truck for 2 years, never had a bit of problem. Get out there one day, gonna cut a tree and hit the lever, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
We tried everything, and Tanner, he's in maintenance and deals with hydraulics and whatnot, and he come looked at it, and what's this doing? I said, that don't work. That's just don't know what it is. It just don't know what it is. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was an auxiliary for hydraulic tools.
Yeah.
And is it supposed to move? I don't know. It'll turn. Well, he popped it up. Thing run fine. And now it must have been froze. Because I hit it all the time. Accidentally, I'll hit the lever.
You probably knocked
Dang gone.
just right, got it loosened up.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Y'all don't know, Tanner might know this story. This isn't about getting stuck, but since we're talking about riding and whatnot,
Yeah.
I had a little 90-some model Nissan hardbody.
Okay.
Small little truck.
Okay.
And it was camo. Somebody painted it. It was nice. They'd stenciled it. It was nice. And single cab, little B truck. Well, my four-wheeler, that 500 Foreman, it fit in the bed of that truck.
Oh.
It was about the same size as the truck, but it fit in the bed. And I'd load that thing up.
Those little ramps you drive up on?
Yeah, you had to take tailgate off because tailgate wouldn't close.
Okay.
But we were riding one day, and we got back out there at Jared's. We lived in a trailer on top of the hill there. And I went to load my four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And you had to load you get your front tires on, then you kind of had to goose it a little bit and get your front tires over the fenders.
Okay.
right, on the inside of the bed. And I goosed it real hard and didn't think, and I didn't stop. I smacked the back glass.
You break it?
Shattered it. The only thing holding the back glass together was the tent. The inside of the truck, there was glass everywhere. And they lost it. They laughed, had a big time.
Oh, let's see.
It was funny. I didn't care,
Right.
Strapped it down. We raked the glass out of the seat and drove it home.
You didn't
and
need a
drove
window.
Huh?
You didn't need no window.
No, I drove it like that for a long time. End up taping it to where it would, I don't know, we rigged it to where it looked ridiculous. But I don't think I
I think
replaced
you
it.
getting out of it would look ridiculous.
I did. I mean, I drove that truck like the steering wheel's right here, and I just drove like it little bit truck. But that thing got great fuel mileage. And go ahead if you got another story, but I got a story based on that truck.
Let's teach some people here of how not to get stuck. So one advice I got here when I went back to over at Shelter, I was back there talking to Brent. He said, "Has no one ever told you if the water's blue, don't go in it?"
Yeah.
I said, "No." He said,
I've never heard that before.
he said, "If it's blue, that means it's deep."
Yeah.
So there's your little tip of advice of the day. If you're driving on a road and you see the water and it's blue, I would not go through it.
Well, on that note,
I guess because it's
brown water, same way. Depends on where the water's at.
I was going to say, if it's brown and rolling,
yeah.
might not want to.
Well, like one time we had that flood back several years ago.
2010.
Yeah.
Okay.
So however many years ago, 15 years. 15 years? Yeah.
15 years.
We're getting old.
Yeah. I was trying to get the Jakes in
I
Houstonville.
was with you on 70.
Running up 78, and up ahead of me, you could see, we was on a straight stretch on 78. You could see muddy water on the road and thought, well, we'll slow down when we get there. And about that time, we hit clear water, and it was yay deep. We went from 55 to 4 mile an hour like that.
Yeah.
And
It was out there at Old Cox School, wasn't it?
yeah, right up to Ellis's or something. So we didn't hydroplane. Don't know how we didn't hydroplane, but we just
Stopped.
come to a stop. So then we had to ease through it. And I'll try to think of some advice
Yeah.
as we go.
I think that'd be good to teach some people what not to do. And if you find yourself in this situation and you need a good insurance guy, Kevin's your man.
There you go.
Yeah, he'll take care of it.
He got the tow truck guy out there for me. Quick.
I got a good riding story
Okay.
that I think Chris is really going to like since he's not from Casey
Did
County.
you pick up a hitchhiker?
I did not.
Okay.
I was the hitchhiker on this story. So the boys I rode with
Okay.
at the time, the boys I went to school with, they had four wheelers, and one of them had a side by side. Well, I never had enough money to buy anything, but we had a lawnmower that kind of got passed around to each one of us. It started with my buddy Wesley, and he had took the deck off and got it running, and I think he might have he welded the rear end where it was kind of posi track.
Yeah.
And then he got a side by side, so he'd give it to Ethan. Well, Ethan, he had stuck some old Dodge mirrors, bolted them onto it, and they stuck out that wide, and a toolbox on it, and he rode it for a while. Well, he bought him a four-wheeler, and we planned on going riding one day. Well, he bought that four-wheeler, so whenever I showed up, he said, hey, instead of riding that little bitty 50 dirt bike that Wesley had, he said, I'm going to give you that lawnmower. It just needs a drive belt.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it might have been a Murray.
I think it was.
So
Good old Mary.
Reddish.
So I told him we were at his house and they were getting everything ready to go ride. And I said, well, let's measure this thing. I'll go get a drive belt. So we didn't have no tape measures. So I took a piece of baling twine and I ran it around the pulleys and I tied it real tight. We popped it off there. I said, well, I'm going to go grab a belt. So I come to town. And I'm trying to remember exactly. I bought a belt.
Okay.
I don't remember where I got it. I go back up there. The belt ended up being like an inch or two too short,
Oh.
but I made it work.
Of course you did.
I unbolted.
You can get it on there.
I unbolted one of the pulleys, had it flop back. I stretched it on there and bolted that thing up. It was banjo string tight. I thought, well, it's going to work. It ain't going to slip.
Yeah.
So we load everything up and we come over here to Becker Holler. And we're out on Dry Ridge where Ethan and them live. We come over here. You know where Becker Holler is?
Crossroad Mom and Dad's house. In the woods there.
Just that whole woods.
Okay.
So you know where the 4-way is, like if you turn go to Papa's or come out here.
Either come here or go to your grandpa's.
Yeah. Instead of when you go to turn on to this road, there's that little bitty drop goes in the woods right there. That's
Is
your
that where
drop.
that guy ran you off from? He was deer hunting back there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
No, same area, different place. Yes.
Okay.
That's Heber.
Oh, yeah. Same holler, but different spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
no, I take it back. We started at Pine Grove Church that day.
Okay.
So we go down to Pine Grove Church and we unload everything. We take off through the holler and we're going, and this thing, it's a 5-speed transmission. I'm going, and this thing, it had,
What kind of mower is this?
it was
Just a long neck.
Troy built.
not a Troy Built or a Murray, just a
Like your craft, just like it, but different color.
we had altered it.
With
So
the deck.
Oh,
the back tires, that things were probably 60 inches wide because they had took 2 rims and welded them together. It had like dirt bike tires on the outside rim.
Yeah.
So this thing sit real wide, and you could put it down low gear. You could ride wheelies on it, and it had mirrors and a toolbox, and this thing was awesome. So if you've never been,
Yeah.
riding a lawnmower in the woods is funner than any 4-wheeler you will ever have. I promise you, I've done it on a few.
I think we have officially hit redneck status.
Yes. So we're going down, and like I said, I'm riding wheelies, I'm climbing hills, I'm hitting mud holes
In a lawnmower.
in a lawnmower. It is fun.
It's just slow.
It's just right.
Slow.
But you can swap the pulleys, make it run like 40 if you want to. But this one wasn't swapped. So I'm going down a flat trail. No hills.
Yeah.
No big rocks. Nothing. Just flat. There's a side-by-side, like 2 4-wheelers, maybe a dirt bike, and Tanner. And I'm on this lawnmower,
Okay.
and I'm going, just like I said, flat spot in the woods, and all of a sudden the back end just drops. I'm like, what is going on? And I look, and my back left-hand tire, instead of being like this, it's sitting like this. I'm like, what? So I get off, and I don't know if it was, the belt was too tight, something broke, something did break, but I don't know what caused it. But the rear end, which is your transmission, split in half, and it's sitting, instead of being like this, it was sitting like this.
Yeah.
So all it needs is rear end.
Right.
Easy to swap. But we didn't have anything to haul this thing out of here on. So I had the idea, we'll hook it to the side-by-side,
Okay.
drag it just off the trail. We covered it up with some limbs. And we're going to come back this next weekend and with my buddy's truck, because he had a little Toyota. It's kind of built for riding on the woods. So I was like, I'll just ride in the back at side by side the rest of the time. And then next weekend, me and Justin come back and get it. Well, Justin blew his truck up.
Oh.
So a couple weeks go by, and somebody, I don't remember who it was, like one of our friends had went riding down there again. And they said something about a lawnmower down there in the woods. I said, yeah, it's mine. I got to go down there and get it. He said, you don't want it now. I said, what do you mean? He said, somebody's done stripped it.
Are you serious?
So I go back down there. Are you still mad about it to this day? But
What do you mean? They put on cinder blocks?
oh no, this thing, the only thing left is the back fenders, the frame, and the broken rear end. They took steering column, steering wheel, seat, gas tank, motor, front tires, front steering, everything.
I mean, was it like valuable or just?
No, just
Well, to them.
but I left it. Now that is almost like a trail marker for people that ride down there. Like, all right, we're at the mower, let's go this way.
Yeah.
See, you didn't know what kind of like trendsetter you would have. Like it's the Memorial Tanner
That's right.
Edwards down there.
We should put a sign up down there.
All right. Don't be Tanner.
Well,
Yeah.
just here lies the remnants of.
But with the lawnmower,
Yeah.
You need to look them up. A lot of people do it, and it's fun. They're having things jacked up.
Yeah. I mean, they had those
I wanted to
at
build
Bullitt
one.
County Fairgrounds. They had the like mower pools and stuff.
Oh, no, this is a lot better than that.
Okay.
I wanted to build one,
Yeah.
but I wanted to stretch it out and put an extra axle under it with a rollback. Because I
I'd be
rode with a
scared
bunch
to
of
do it.
boys who rode like racing four-wheelers.
Okay.
And they broke down all the time. They had to pull each other home. I was like, well, I could build me a rollback lawnmower, make it like four-wheel drive,
Hey,
and I'll just back right up, roll them right on. I'll haul them right out of the wheel.
he's gonna
But I never did it.
side hustle with P&P towing.
There you go.
There we go.
We'll go where you can't go.
Right. Wilderness towing.
Yeah.
That's your new side gig.
But yeah, I've
Okay.
been stuck a lot.
Yeah.
Trucks, four-wheelers.
You remember when we
Out of gas.
right down there on Gum Lick, Dad had that farm leased for tobacco. And I remember us being in that white 94 F-150. I think I was driving because I was older. I don't remember. Something happened and we got stuck. And Dad had you, look at that grin. Dad told Tanner to take his chain, hook it to the tractor, go under the truck and hook it to the truck.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell this from my perspective.
Go ahead.
Because I had to pay to fix it.
What did you do?
So
How old would we have been? 14?
you might have been 14. That's probably 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But Dad was on the tractor, and we was down there at the tobacco patch, but it had rained. Well, we're going around the tobacco patch through like the hay field part. Well, Dad's on the tractor in front of us, me and Josh in the truck, and Dad's up here, and he's doing this. He's just waving his hand. We didn't think nothing of it. We're following him. And all of a sudden the truck stops. Dad stops. I was telling y'all to go around this mud hole that's in the field. Been raining.
All right.
So since Tanner's the youngest, he was always put in the worst position.
Okay.
They said, get under there, hook this chain
To something.
to something. That was the problem because I was 10 and I didn't know there was things you shouldn't hook it to.
What'd you hook it to?
The tie rod. There. So I hook it. Dad pulls us out. He tells us to go on home. He's going to go disc or something. So Josh takes off. We hit the road and it just.
Would you send that tie rod or something?
Well, I told him, I said, hey, you better quit squealing tires. Dad's going to get you. He said, I ain't doing it.
It freak you out?
Yeah, it was the
Both front tires sitting in like that. It had bent that tie rod.
Oh, you hooked up two chains of both tie rods?
No, one tie rod goes for one wheel. The
car goes all out fast.
So we had to go get Dad, and Dad was not happy.
Because he was supposed to be this good.
Yeah.
Didn't he drag that truck home?
No, he drove it. He
drove?
dropped one wheel in the ditch and cleaned the ditches out all the way home.
Yeah.
I think Tony Hayes ended up coming to pick it up maybe, or Dad might have drove it all the way up there, but he had Tony Hayes fix it. But yeah, that's
So you learned that day not to hook it to the tie rod.
hook it to the tie rod. You hook it around the frame.
Okay. So you're learning all this stuff today, guys.
Yeah.
Don't drive in deep blue water. Don't ever cross a creek if there's water in it. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of
All right.
valuable.
Don't go nowhere with Tanner because you're going to get stuck.
You gonna get stuck. You gonna pick up hitchhikers.
All right.
You gonna have cops surround your vehicle. Did I ever tell y'all that story? Nah.
No, we could say that for another episode.
So yeah, that's a different episode.
We're getting close to about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Did y'all ever play under the Veterans Bridge?
That's where my next story was going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the big veteran bridge on 70.
Yeah.
That used to be the mud hole capital of Case County
Oh, okay.
for a while.
Yeah.
What'd you play in? Like, just go out there?
Trucks.
Oh,
But, you know, you might go down there for foil or something, but you got a story off of that? I've got one.
I got a couple.
yeah,
Well,
couple.
it's my turn. I'm
Go ahead.
gonna tell her it didn't happen to me. I was involved, but it didn't happen to me. A friend
Of mine.
We're not like gonna get get arrested for anything like Lazari.
No, this was all illegal.
That's
So-
illegal.
I was working for Chris Fair at the time, and cousin Jake
Cousin
called me
Jake.
one night. It was me and Ashley was living down here at Papa's old house, and it was 11 o'clock at night, and we about ready to go to bed, and phone ring. Cousin Jake. We've talked about Jake on air before. I thought, well, what's he want? So I answered, and I said, what's up? He said, hey, you work for Chris, right? Down here on 70. I said, yeah. He said, well, me and Tori's his wife now. They were dating at the time. Me and Tori down here, and we're, maybe I hadn't met Tori yet. Anyways, he said, I'm down here under this bridge on 70, and I'm stuck.
Okay.
Can you get one of them tractors and come pull me out? And I said, well, no, I don't know about that. It's 11 o'clock at night and whatnot. He said, well, what about your truck? And I said, my truck? He said, yeah, that flatbed. And I said, I don't have that flatbed anymore. I've got that Nissan, little two-wheel drive Nissan hardbody, the camo truck. I said, well, Jake, I don't know about that. Let me call around, see if I can get a hold of anybody, somebody close to the tractor. I said, are you stuck pretty good? Yeah, we're bottomed out on Creek Rock. Okay. So I couldn't get a hold of nobody. I ended up saying, well, let's just go down there and see what's going on. So when you drop down in there under the bridge and you go under, you go the other side, and there's a new river going through there now, but it was a lot of Creek Rock. And Jake was in a F-150, and he was driving around, and it was dark, and he didn't know where he was, kind of thing. And he dropped over. He was on this gravel bar, and there was a hole. He dropped down in it, whatever, and his rails hit, so he was stuck. Couldn't go forwards or backwards, even forward drive. So I'll get down there with I took a chain with me. I get down there with my little two-wheel drive Nissan hardbody, and I talked to him, what we need to do? And he said, well, if we could go backwards, that'd be best. Well, we'll give it a shot. I said, I don't know if I can move you or not. So I'd hook that chain to my ball or my bumper, my frame, and hook it to his truck, to his hitch. And first time or two, I just tried pulling him. He wouldn't move. And I said, I'm just going to jerk you out. So I'd back up and hit bumpers together.
Okay.
And I hooked a chain about 3 foot short, 3 foot long. Enough time to give me a good, not a real run, but I'd back up and bump him and put her in drive and floor it. And then 3 feet, it would hit hard. And it'd move him just a little. And I bet I jerked him 20 times, 30 times, just slowly working him out of there. Finally, he come out. And I didn't care what was happening to the truck. I don't know if there was any real damage. It wasn't good.
I was waiting for that first time I went to jerk him and my bumper
come off. Or no, nothing like that happened.
I was waiting for that.
But I was proud of that little truck. I got that thing.
Sounds like you need to get another one.
I would. I'd love to. Actually crawl up in that thing.
Gas would be great.
Yeah, I could use it for
just go
bidding jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to get me a little something so that diesel truck.
We could put it on the big diesel truck, like little nutcracker.
Yeah. But that's all I got on that story.
Yeah.
It's gonna mean something to me and Jake and Tori, but
Yeah.
it ain't the best story, but
That's all
it
right.
happened.
Maybe you got stories and you can let us know. Tanner, that story you told with the burn cream, I get notifications every day.
Yeah.
People comment.
Still comment. People saying it's called Silvadine, and
That's
Put mustard on it. Put mayonnaise on it.
yeah.
Why would you do that to it?
Don't put honey on it.
No, don't put. Oh yeah, yeah, buddy. That video, I still get notifications.
Tell us one of your stories down there at that.
Well, back high school and just after high school, that was the big place to go hang out, mud, have a good time, fight. Well, it's Christmas. Try to think here. Sometime around Christmas.
Okay.
It was the day we supposed to went to Papa's for Christmas. Well, that morning I went to town. This was like I said, it's a few hours before we got to be at Papa's. I'll go on into town and I'm seeing a buddy of mine. He said, you got this 4-wheel drive truck? He said, let's go hit the Veterans Bridge real quick. We'll throw a little mud. So well, let's go. So me and 2 other boys, we hop in here. We get down under that bridge and, You remember where Chad Combs sunk his coming?
Yeah.
All right. I did not know about this.
Yeah.
I didn't know where the hole was. So that big old mud tars, you sling mud like 30 foot in the air. You're sliding and going around. Well, I go all the way around this thing. It's pretty much like a little trail goes around it. Well, you get to that far side, and our boy, he buried his truck almost up to the windows down there. Well, I get almost to where he buried that truck, and I get crossed up in ruts, and I've got her to the floor, and it ain't going nowhere now. So I put it in reverse, and I've got her to the floor, and she ain't moving. So I thought, this is bad. I got to be at Papa's in a little while. I got these two boys with me. They both got Christmas dinners.
Yeah.
And they were like, we got to get out of here. I was like, well, who we going to call?
Ghostbusters.
So we end up calling a buddy of ours. He brings his truck down there, and he's just spinning. And he didn't want to get too far in to where he couldn't get out. So one of them calls Hunter Christian. He had this 2-door Jeep, big old tars lifted and with a winch. Surely he can get us out. So he comes down there, and he's got all 4 tires spinning backwards, and that winch is just pulling him into us. I said, you gonna get hung up with this? Said, I can't remember who it was. Somebody ended up pulling down in there and seen us. They said, well, I know some boys with a tractor close. I said, he said, you probably gonna have to pay them to come down here. I said, well, I'll pay them. So a little while later, here come this guy. I think it was one of the Atwoods. It was one of them worked for him or something. He pulls this big old 4-wheel drive John Deere down in there. And we hooked this junk chain I had to it, little log chain. And he bumped it a couple times, and that chain broke. But well, he had a chain, so we hooked it up. I know we hooked the chain, and for whatever reason, I took a strap and hooked with it to try to help it. He pulled, and you could see him. He was spinning all 4 tires. He finally, it come out from the ruts, because you're sitting down in the ruts, and you got to pop that truck over them and turn it. That thing, it finally come loose. We got out of there. I took them boys back to town, dropped them off. I was late. Here I am, fast as I can get that truck. Mom and Dad's take a shower because I'm covered in mud. Took a shower, got dressed. I ended up 2 hours late to Papa's. Mom was mad.
Oh, yeah. Where you been at, Tanner?
Yeah, I was truck covered, mud covered. But that was one of the times I got crossed up in ruts. That wasn't that too bad.
Yeah.
I buried that truck in another hole. I had, I think, 31 1050s on it, and then you couldn't see the fender wells for that old truck. Me, Jared, Cody, Doug, Justin wasn't with us. There's a bunch of us down there. But you remember that Samurai Jared had?
Yeah.
Built for like a rock crawling or mud. He had that. Cody had that big lifted Toyota. Both of them were hooked together, and they couldn't budge me. And they sit there and pulled and pulled and pulled. And, I had an idea that Biscuit had told me about. He said, you take a chain and hook it to your truck and run it through a tire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hook another chain to the truck pulling you, run it through the tire, and that tire gives you some spring action. And it got us out. We pulled for probably 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we finally got that thing unstuck.
Where'd you get a tire from?
It's down there.
Of course,
We found it down there somewhere.
Yeah. You want a tar, just go to the river. There'll be a tar somewhere.
Yeah.
Or go off in the woods.
Yeah.
There's tires everywhere around here. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on.
Yeah.
I wish if we had time, we'd shoot another episode this night, but we ain't going to.
It's done late.
But we'll do we'll do some more, because I'm
Yeah.
you're sitting here talking and
Stories
thinking
come,
about
yes.
more,
Thinking
getting
of-
stuck stories. And
You know, we were talking about that burn cream reel on Facebook. It's got 288,000 Views. And it's got 220 comments
Yeah.
of how to fix a burn.
I know fix a burn.
So,
Silverdane.
Silverdane there.
Well, we'll wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
Like, share, comment, post, pick your nose,
Yeah.
you know.
Give us a good rating
me that.
there on Apple Podcast.
Spotify.
Yeah.
I haven't been putting videos. I've been lacking. I've not took the time, and I apologize.
All this work to get these rules ready for somebody.
And I'm gonna
He's getting lazy on us. I thought he was mad at me
Yeah.
because he didn't do anything. I'm like, well, the podcast has ended.
Yeah. I just got in a funk, I guess, and didn't want to mess with it. And I'm sorry. But I'll do better.
But we still get listeners.
Yeah. So check out our sponsors. You know, tell them where you heard them, where you heard about them.
Yeah.
Them cookies were delicious. Go get you some of them snickerdoodle cookies.
Still mad about that.
Know about them.
And
I'm gonna call. I'm messenger as soon as I get out of here and say, Josh, don't give him no more food. Gave him cinnamon rolls. Gave him cookies.
you got a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, but I'd have bet pride of your hands. Yeah, he left him his truck.
Well, they were good though.
Yeah,
Hey, if you got a hat laying there you don't want, send it to me.
we have to get the PO box going.
Yeah. Well, I don't ever send us anything. But anyways, y'all have,
watches this far.
y'all have a good day.
Yeah.
Lots of love to you and yours. Tanner, thanks for coming.
Oh yeah. What about the last episode? I added your song on there.
You know, I haven't even watched that episode yet. I told you I've been a fun. The last episode,
Yeah.
I talked about the saying that I used to say was shamalama ding dong.
Yeah.
You remember saying that? Well, get on YouTube, type in shamalama ding dong, and it's a real song.
Yeah.
I just made it up, but it's this black guy singing this. I think it's a romantic song.
It is.
And
I found it on YouTube.
he added it on the
That's
end of the last episode.
yeah. That's our closing out song.
Yeah. So
Good.
He was singing along with it. It was in the right key or the right rhythm.
I don't have a key.
Yeah, key of Josh.
What's your favorite song, Tanner?
Favorite song.
Top of your head.
I've got a lot.
Just one.
All right.
Just name. If it came on right now, you would love to hear it, or you'd start dancing to it, or just
Honestly,
oh, good
You
Lord.
got to put him on the spot.
I listen to almost every genre
Yeah.
of music. Hate most of it,
All right.
but there's certain songs out of each genre
Yeah.
that I will listen to.
I was just gonna have you pick a song and put it as our ending song.
All right.
Well, yeah. Now I will say this:
He liked the Little Mermaid.
You
Kissed
remember-
the girl.
you remember Braveheart?
Braveheart.
You remember the funeral song?
Yeah.
Outlawed tunes on outlawed packs.
I guess bagpipes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love bagpipes.
I do too.
I found outlawed tunes on outlawed pipes on a 10-hour loop on YouTube one time.
What?
And I used to listen to that 45 minutes straight from work to home to work.
Yeah.
I just have bagpipes playing as I'm going down the road full blast.
I'd love a set of. We need to get a set of bagpipes for the church.
There we go.
I'll learn how to play.
Yeah, we'll learn how to play them.
All right. As long as you don't bring the kilt with it, we're good.
You gotta have a kilt. Tanner's got
I'm
weird.
wearing a kilt next week.
I did a wedding one time.
We'll wear kilts to
Right. I photograph weddings, and I went up to Cincinnati to do a wedding. It was more Covington, and they're like, this wedding's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. I said, okay. I thought I'll seen it all. Well, the grooms and the groomsmen come out. They all got kilts, and poor guy he never wore one guy never worn one before, and it just kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it.
I'd love to have a kilt.
I love it.
You couldn't sit like that.
No.
Wait, good.
We'd have to angle the camera.
Like this.
Send Josh a kilt.
Find us a bagpipe song. Put it on there.
Amazing Grace.
What?
There we go. Backpack. There we go.
All right.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna listen to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm out of my funk.
We got you encouraged.
Got Tanner back. He's ready to go.
Yeah. All right. I didn't think tonight was gonna happen. Because it's last week you said we're gonna record Wednesday.
Yeah. Ghost didn't work out.
Ghosted me.
All right.
All right.
Love y'all.